Hello and welcome to Washington Exec's video series. I'm Amanda Ziadeh, senior writer with Washington Exec, and today I'm joined by Tim Conway, the president of public sector at NTT DATA Services. Thank you so much for joining me today, Tim.
Hi, Amanda. Happy to be here.
All right, so today we're continuing our conversation with GovCon executives about the impact of the coronavirus pandemic on the industry and its partners and how GovCon is responding and adapting to those changing needs and priorities. Tim, you work directly with the federal government at all levels to provide them with innovative technology solutions. So I wanted to first start by asking you, how has NTT Data been helping its clients with COVID-19 response and priorities across government?
So for us, it always starts with our core values, which is client first, foresight, and teamwork. As the pandemic, the crisis began to occur, we recognize that government is always on the forefront of the response, right? People look to their government officials to provide direction as to how to respond. And, for us, many of our clients are actually at the forefront of responding to the virus, right? One of our largest clients is the CDC, the Center for Disease Control and Prevention. We provide the infrastructure for them, both data center and end user computing, as well as support for the national stockpile. And, our team enabled the CDC, the 20,000 employees at the CDC in 30 countries around the world, to go remote and still securely support the mission. It took a lot of resiliency and creativity. From our team, we had drive-through, deployment sites where a researcher or a CDC employee could just drive up, pick up a laptop, maybe drop off an old laptop and continue on. So again, critical that we enable the mission, especially in times like that.
And continuing the conversation on phases of reopening, as various parts of the DMV enters, phase 1, 2, 3, where are you seeing clients need the most support, and how are you being able to provide that support?
From the onset of the pandemic, client requirements have really evolved. It went from kind of business as usual to we've got to deal with this, right? And a great example of that would be the city of Austin. The city of Austin partnered with us to develop a pandemic, I'll say, management solution. In any crisis, how do you go from chaos to structure? The chaos at the time was we had limited test kits, right? And how do we test the right people and protect the residents of the city? Well, we developed a solution that would enable them to the residents to opt in, should they want to, complete a questionnaire to the extent that they have COVID symptoms. Based on the questionnaire, we could schedule them for a test at one of the 5 testing locations around the city. They'd show up with a QR code, they'd roll down the window, we'd scan the QR code, or the testing agency would scan the QR code, swab them, and then ultimately, when the results came in, we would notify them of the test results. So again, and then the ability to do contact tracing and beyond, kind of virus management, post testing. So additionally, it did give the city some additional information as to looking at particular communities, maybe that were hotspots, or the effect that it would have on hospital overcrowding, potentially based on the number of positive test cases in certain geographies. So again, a pretty exciting solution.
All right, wonderful. And considering new guidelines and requirements around reopening during the pandemic, how is NTT Data and helping its clients get back to business? And what are some of the tools and technologies or solutions that are helping them transition from stay at home to back to work as much as possible?
So I talked a little bit about the Austin app, and that app is very applicable to the return to work, right? All of the return to work guidelines that I've seen thus far, the employee that's going back to work fills out a daily kind of self-assessment of how they're feeling. And so, again, you could use the same functionality in the tool, and ultimately, to the extent that somebody did contract the virus, the contact tracing. But beyond that, we have a solution that we've developed for the city of Las Vegas. It's a smart city technology that was very much focused on public safety, and provided the city in their innovation district an IoT solution that was scalable using any IoT device. Specifically in Las Vegas, we were focused on crowd counting, people of interest, license plate reading, wrong way driving, people being present at parks after hours, right? So camera information would come in, and we would collect that information and make it actionable for the city. Now, as we pivot toward pandemic, we use the same platform for new use cases. We now use the same platform, and instead of it being a camera, it's a thermal sensor. As people come into the building, we can do a thermal sensor of their temperature and notify those that have a temperature to let's say, see a security guard, right? Who would advise them that they had a temperature and not let them in the facility. We can use the video instead of for crowd counting. We can do it for are people maintaining social distance, right? Are they complying with the mask regulations, right? Are they walking around the building without the mask? Well, with a video sensor, we can determine whether a person is wearing a mask or not wearing the mask, right? So again, it's solutions on a mature platform that was developed by our NTT Data R&D that really make the community and the world around us safer, right? And it's available to clients across the country.
Right, wonderful. And we certainly hope these are the solutions that will help us, as a nation, fully recover and get back to work as soon as possible. So thank you so much for sharing all of that with us, Tim. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much. And, as it relates to the pandemic, we're all in this together, right? It's a nationwide issue that, we all need to do our part.
Wonderful. All right. Well, hopefully we'll be able to see you soon in person on that note.
Thank you very much, Amanda.